Pop quiz. Which one of these guys is the most stylish? We've got the classic look, or what about street style? Maybe the retro look, or the rebel? What about sports style? And let's not forget the formal look. So what's the answer? Well, gents, it was a trick question, because assuming that each of these guys is sending the message they want to send, they all have style. You see, style isn't about a particular type of clothing, expensive watches, a fancy hat. No, style is taking the time to understand who you are, what you stand for, where you want to go, and then leveraging your image to send the message you want to send to the world. In today's video, gents, we're talking about the dressing rules that every man needs to know once and for all. Now, these next two rules I'm going to talk about at the same time because they are closely linked, and that is style matters because human beings are lazy and every man should develop a uniform. So to illustrate these rules, I want to share with you guys a quick story. So as a young second lieutenant, I remember getting sick, having to throw on my uniform and go to the military hospital. As I'm walking up to the hospital, I remember passing a number of enlisted Marines. I was an officer and not getting a salute. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? As soon as I took my uniform off, I realized, oh my gosh, I do not have my bars. And I basically looked like a private walking around the base. And that right there illustrated to me a couple things. First up, people are lazy. They rely on what they see. No one's going to take the time to ask you who you are. What have you accomplished? People look at you very quickly and they make a snap judgment. Next up is the power of a uniform. As a second lieutenant, I was afforded certain courtesies. When I didn't have the right uniform, the right bars on, I was not given those courtesies. So understanding that your uniform, what you wear, sends that signal, and people will either treat you with respect or they won't. All of a sudden, you understand the power of what we wear. Now, this takes me to the next rule. There is always a dress code. Now, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, come on, Antonio, there's no dress code at my office when I'm on a Zoom call, when I'm meeting up with my friends. Gents, that's a bunch of BS. There is always a dress code. And just because the dress code isn't stated doesn't mean it isn't there. Gents, these dress codes exist because people are lazy. They want to quickly signal to each other, sometimes without even saying anything, sometimes in secrecy, who's in, who's out, who is in charge. What happens if you ignore the rules? Gents, it doesn't matter sometimes how smart you are or how hard you work. If you ignore these rules, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're sabotaging your own chances for success. Now, speaking of success, I want to share with you guys an amazing entrepreneurial story that has to do with underwear. So the story goes back to 2008 when Robert Patton, an Army sergeant, was deployed and he was having issues with his crotch. So Robert gets this idea to sew a pouch into his underwear to reduce the skin-on-skin friction, basically to get rid of the chafing. Fast forward to 2013, Robert launches Sheath on Kickstarter and men around the world go nuts for the best underwear out there, bar none, when it comes to protecting your package. Now, gents, Sheath is a sponsor of today's video, and I've talked about him for years because I love what these guys do. Seriously, gents, once you start using the dual pouch system, you're going to find the boys will settle for nothing less. And I love seeing they've got a four-way stretch in their fabrics. In addition, they're using modal, a very breathable, natural material that is incredibly comfortable and helps to wick away moisture. They've got a wide variety of colors, a wide variety of styles, and even a women's line. And don't take my word for it, guys. Go check out the reviews. Men around the world are raving about Sheath and how wearing this underwear literally transforms their lives. And on top of all that, they've got amazing customer service. I know the founders. I know the people working there at Sheath. They treat customers like family. Gents, I'm linking to Sheath down in the description of today's video with the best deal you're going to find out there. Use it or lose it. Use that link to get the best deal, guys. Great company. Proud to support them. Next up, gents, quality over quantity. Now, most guys, when they're out there shopping, they're looking for the bare minimum. Seriously, two items look similar. I'm going to go with the cheap one. The problem with buying the cheapest clothing is, believe it or not, gents, it is not the best deal. Oftentimes, cheap clothing is made with inferior fabrics, inferior stitching, and a poor design. It results in clothing that falls apart, that never looks good on you, clothing that is a waste of money. If you go out there and buy cheap shoes that have a poor design or made from petroleum products, are glued together, you're going to find these things are never going to look good and they are going to fall apart after you've worn them just a few dozen times. Compare that with a pair of quality shoes, which I know, yes, can cost 3 times more, but these shoes over time are going to start to look better. They're going to be more comfortable and they will last you, if you take care of them, a lifetime. The point, gentlemen, it's better to budget for quality than to settle for cheap. The next style rule that every guy should know and follow: love everything that you wear, everything you put on your body. Because here's the secret. Whenever you put on things that you're familiar with that just feel great, you walk with more confidence. When you walk with more confidence, you look better, you feel better. People say, I don't know what it is about that guy, but I love to be around him because it makes you happy. You're in a positive mood. And it can be little things, like from choosing a fragrance that just reminds you, maybe just of cookies. Maybe it reminds you of chocolate. You love your coffee, and so you got a fragrance that really just puts you in the right mood, even if you're in a bad mood. You've got a watch that reminds you of a trip that you took, of a place that you went diving with your son. Guys, you've got a jacket that every time you put it on, it's like a suit of armor. You feel like $1,000,000. It builds up your shoulders, makes you feel more confident. That's what you want your clothing to do. This should be something when you put it on, you feel amazing. And that's what I love, when a guy can wear the clothing and it actually makes him a better man. The next star rule is to rely on systems, not willpower. A lot of people say, oh, you've got the discipline to dress sharp every day. No, I don't. I simply have a closet. I've got systems that I've set up so it's easier for me to fall into nice clothing than it is to go to the back of my closet and try to find beat up, stained work clothing. A lot of guys, they got that backwards. They haven't organized their closet. They've got the clothing that, it just doesn't fit them, that is stained, is dirty, is torn right in front, versus actually changing things around. If you're relying on your willpower to actually go in and iron and to press everything before you have to go get dressed in the morning, that's not going to happen. Instead, set clothing out the night before. Find the tie, put it all together, put that pocket square, leave it in the jacket. I know I do. So all of a sudden, I'm able to put that on, and especially if I'm running late, I'm in a hurry. It's easier to dress sharp than it is to dress poorly. The next star rule that every guy needs to know, and this goes well beyond style, is that confidence, that mastery are developed through practice, through repetition, through putting in the work. So a lot of guys, when they start to dress sharp, they say, I don't feel like myself. I feel like a fraud. I am very uncomfortable. I don't like this at all. Here's the thing, is it's not truly uncomfortable. It's just unfamiliar. It's like you're going to the gym for the first time. You don't know where the weights are at. You don't know how to use this equipment. But after you've been there 100 times, guess what? This is like a second home to you because you put in those reps. You have mastery of the gym. Yes, you have a ways to go and it never ends. It's the same with style, gentlemen. When you start to dress sharp, even if it's in the confines of your own home, because you're working from home, guess what, guys? You get used to wearing that clothing. You start to understand it. You make adjustments. You find things that work for you. Do you develop your own personal style? And all of a sudden, you become confident. You become the master of your image, sending the message you want to the world. You learn, hey, I like wearing a hat. You wear the hat around. You get used to wearing a watch, or you decide it's not for you. You find certain fragrances that work with your chemistry that basically make you feel amazing. And guess what? When you go out there, you wear them with confidence and you look amazing and people take note. The next star rule that every guy should know, some opinions matter, but most do not. What am I talking about? So many people are concerned about what other people think of them. No, think about, what do I think of myself? Am I proud of the man I look in the mirror? Think about, what does your wife think of you? What does your girlfriend? What does your family think of you? I know for me, I dress sharp because I know what I stand for. I know what my why is. I know what I want to accomplish in this world. And when I get dressed sharp, my son sees an example of a man that he can grow up to be. My daughters see an example of a man they can maybe bring into their lives at some point. I want to go out there and send the message to the world. I respect myself. I respect my family. I respect my community. And I know what my job is. I know what my business stands for. So gentlemen, understand, most opinions, they don't matter. And who cares what, that person thinks? You should care what your boss and what your boss's boss think in that presentation when you're getting up there. Not the people that are saying, he's making us look bad. The people at the top who are saying, you know what? That guy we should groom for future promotion. Now, I know as you're watching this, you've got your opinion. You're saying, Antonio, you missed this. I want to hear from you down in the comments. What did I miss? What could I have added to this video to make it better? Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, Antonio, these rules are fine and dandy, but give me the details. What are the mistakes, the things I do not want to do? Well, guys, I've got you covered with this video right here. 20 style mistakes you never want to make that guys are still making today. Yeah, you don't want to do this. Find out what I'm talking about, guys, in this video right here.